morning, everybody. Welcome back. It is June 24th, which means you guys are caught back up to present day now. I apologize for getting so far behind, but went away for a week with my wife and my boy and her parents, so we went up north to Algoma County, Chubb Lake to be exact, a little bit north of Vine River. It's a good time, relaxing. Caught a lot of fish. The weather was pretty decent. There was only one day that it rained, so got back home, was hopping in my truck to head over to the farm, and my truck is completely dead. The doors are locked, and I've swapped the door out on that truck, so the fob key doesn't match the door now. So gonna have to figure out how to get into my truck. Have to break into it, but that's a problem for another day. A little bit after 8 o'clock, and it is already feeling like 34 degrees. It has been hot. I think the corn's grown over a foot in the week that I was gone. Haven't even looked at the soybeans yet, but everything is growing. We're finally getting some heat. It's good. It's what we need. I haven't talked to Dad or Chris yet, but so looking at the weather and the field view reports, sounds like we got a pile of rain here in the middle of last week. So that should help with the heat, and it looks like we got 3 days of rain coming again. So yeah, luckily this tractor was sitting at my place, so I'll bring it over to the farm and we'll figure out how to get in my truck someday, but pretty low priority right now. According to the field ops map that Pumas have been running around all week, I think one's on a gravel dumper. It looks like we've kind of started doing our grain elevator expansion, so maybe walk you guys around that at some point today. Yeah, it's looking a little different around here. Be a lot more yard to plow this winter. We'll maybe talk a bit about what the expansion plan is here once we talk to Bruce and Chris and make sure that I know what the plan is exactly. But yeah, exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. You're in a hole.
I gotta get back in.
Yeah. We're having some collapsing issues, but we're gonna step the walls. It's gonna be a wash bay. It's finally happening.
The floor.
The floor, yeah. We'll have a floor to wash stuff on. We've had this blueprint like 4 years, 5 years. But it's gonna be 38 wide by 88 long. The reason we went 88 instead of 90 is because we hit our old manure pit that used to be part of the pig barn. And we got a water line on that end, and 4-foot trusses, 4-foot gap. We didn't have to buy that extra truss if we went to 90 feet, but it's gonna have a 12 by 24 by 8 foot deep pit in the center that the floor slopes to. So washing equipment, it all ends up in this hole, and then we'll be able to kind of pull a slat up and drop our pit pump in. Well, not that one, but drop a manure pit pump in, stir it up, and load it in a tank and take it wherever. Should be 24,000 gallons of storage. Hopefully we only have to do it once a year, but it's whatever if we have to do it a few times a year. We drop the pump in, and while we're going to do hay ground or something, we can spread the load out, as long as we don't rinse the sprayer out in here. I kind of have to watch that a little bit, but yeah. So 38 wide, the doors are going to be offset to one side, so one manure tank can pull in, and the second one can pull straight through the two doors, is the idea. It's mainly going to be for manure tanks, washing equipment and storing the manure tanks inside. So with cold weather, we don't have to worry about thawing out the tanks every morning when we go to work, so they're not thawing out on the shop floor. it'll be it's not very straight, Christian. It's been a long time coming. It's maybe a little small, but it's for washing equipment, so is the main purpose of this building. So yeah, what's going on this week? I missed a lot. But got a bunch of clay and topsoil that we're gonna pile up. I'm gonna clean up all the stuff behind the old nursery barn there, and we'll stack the dirt there for now. Once the corn is off, we want to take it to a washout down on the east side of this field. So fill that washout in, or build it back up that we can farm through it again instead of leaving it a grass one, right? So yeah, get this fired up and move the corn head out of the way. I guess I'm gonna move the hay luster. I'm gonna go grab that quick. I apologize for the perspiration. I'm not built for this weather. We got this little area all cleaned up. I'm gonna start loading him with this. It's topsoil. It's all gonna get piled right here for now. And then once the corn is off, we can take it down to a washout that got kind of. We got a 6-inch rainfall last summer, and it was a nice gradual washout. Now it's got a rut through it. Got it filled in this spring with cultivator, but we'd like to just put a couple feet of topsoil there, do it in the fall, so hopefully it has time to settle in and go through a freeze thaw cycle before we get heavy spring rains, and yeah, hopefully rectify that my son can still farm through it someday. So, yeah. Now we're going to load a gravel dumper with a loader tractor, which is very hard on the loader, but that's what we got today. Rented that Mini X, and actually a really reasonable price, but it might as well stay digging the footings instead of loading dirt. Not so bad on the loader, as long as you take nice even bucketfuls. You don't want to go jamming a corner of the bucket into the dirt by any means. I hate moving trees with a loader tractor. The amount of grills we've had to buy, and never stuck a trunk through a radiator before, but jeez. We got the fire chief going there, giving it a little persuasion. That's what I mean. That was just a tree branch breaking off and flicking up. It gets expensive. That's burning quite nicely, actually, for just being knocked over a couple days ago. So the goal here is we're expanding the laneway. So the laneway is going to curve around those trees, and the yard is going to end up a little bit further north, yeah, than that. But we are building a mate to that bin north of that bin, so it's going to sit pretty much, it's going to sit in between the generator and that bin, basically straight to the north. So we can no longer drive through there. We will have to expand the laneway around the generator now. Kind of the idea. So need to make sure V trains can still get in. It's going to make parking maybe less convenient around the yard, but we'll figure that out. We're losing a lot of parking spaces between that wash bay and the new bin. We're gonna have to reorganize some stuff. We'll figure it out. So yeah, equivalent to that right here. It's a 3,500 ton bin. I think it's around 100,000 bushel. I think that's what it converts to. 3,500 times 56. So yeah, we won't be able to drive through here anymore. This cable has to be taken off and moved back. And I would imagine the fuel tank from this will get moved to the other side now with the bin, and then it should be able to go along the bin, put some pillars up so nobody hits the fuel tank, and that'll open up this side of the generator a little bit. The trucks, when we come in, they scale in, drive all the way around up to the receiving pit and back onto the scale again. That's, I believe, the plan, but we'll see how it all takes shape. Drive around. All this will be equipment parking still for now. Up into the elevator. There's going to be another overhead bin, and I believe another smaller 1,200 ton or 1,500 ton bin on the south side of the elevator. 3 bins for sure going up. So 2 bins and an overhead. So yeah, plus the wash bay. We'll see if we can build enough space to park equipment. And there's a pile of snow to push in the winter now again. We lost, maybe 100 feet of beans in this little corner, but it's always been a low spot. They never really do the greatest. The water naturally used to flow and cut the corner, and then we came out with the yard, and this all got tiled, and it just can never really get rid of the water anyway, so now it's going to be gravel. There is tile underneath this, so I'm not too worried about it ever being a soft spot, but yeah, just a little bit of work going on. It's the time of year to do it, because it's about the only stretch that we aren't in the field through the summer, so. But yeah, I tell you, being gone for a week and coming back, the crop sure did pop when I was gone. I think we'll be waist high by the 4th of July, hopefully. My dad was side dressing, wide dropping corn that was above his head last year on the 4th of July, so I don't think we're gonna get there, but there's more rain in the forecast, which isn't great for the dirt work that we're doing, but we got all the gravel here. Just gotta get that topsoil moved and get that hole filled in before it rains. It's kind of the goal. Trees burned down to nothing nicely. Got most of that topsoil pile moved. I think I'm gonna hop in the Steger, start pushing all the topsoil that way down to clay. There's still some tree stumps we gotta dig out with the mini axe yet before I get to, I can't just carry on over there, but at least Dumper went over to Chris to get rid of some of his pile that he's made. Got a bit of time to play around with the topsoil part of it. I'll get it all cleaned up and hopefully get some gravel shoved in that hole before it rains here. Chance of thunderstorms the next 3 days. Who knows what's going to come of that. But could get nothing. We could get 3 inches. So if we can get the clay buried again, then at least the water shouldn't sit as bad. But playing musical chairs today is not fun. Obviously, this is not what this blade is designed for, so we just got to baby it. And being on wheels doesn't make it the easiest to follow the ground and get it smooth, but it's cheaper than renting a bulldozer, and it's what we have, so we're going to use it. The blade is no longer in warranty, so we're not worried about wrecking that. But yeah, I'm just trying to skim the topsoil off, get down to clay, consolidating all these little piles now, make it easier to load up in the dumper to our stockpile. And Chris is digging the stumps out over there. And them out of the way, then we can get the topsoil out of the rest of this and shove that gravel pile into this hole before it rains. Is the plan anyway. Get a few weeks of settling on it, get it all landscaped nice, and then we can have equipment out of the way for when the bin builders show up. So. It is not easy contouring dirt. Once you make one hole, you just make a mess. Got that all pushed up. We can shove some more gravel in. Topsoil gets really deep there. That's probably why it was a wet spot for forever. Doesn't take long to make the pile big again. Now we gotta haul all that away. Chris is digging along the edge of the laneway to get a good gravel. He's making sure that we get all the dirt away from the edge of the laneway, so we don't have a soft spot in the middle of the laneway when we haul it back in. I cannot believe how well that burned down for them being alive 4 days ago. Christian. It's not all this deep, but that's going to take a lot of gravel to fill in this corner. Jeez. So in theory, the bin will fit because the hydro line from the generator goes in and comes out here. So we can't build any further in. Yeah. Hopefully it fits. Should fit. That's why we're building it there. And the generator will be kind of not in the middle of the yard anymore, but still sheltered from the receiving pit. Because we used to have, there was an old, well, it's still here, that old Detroit diesel generator, which their theory was it can suck heat, or the heat from the engine gets put into the dryer to save money. But it, all the generator did all day was suck in the red dog and the fines, and the thing was always overheating and just a pain in the butt. So we moved the generator way over there, so we don't have to deal with the radiator getting plugged every day. But yeah, we don't have three-phase on our road. The highway north or south of us does. But we would have to pay to get three-phase to this property. So I talked to a neighbor dairy farm on the corner of the highway, and it was going to be $100,000 for him to get three-phase in his laneway, let alone getting it down a half block and in my laneway. So that's why we use generators. It's not great, but that'll be our second generator in 12 years of having the elevator. So just get the pile of hours put on it, but as long as you maintain it, it's not so bad. I guess it's hot today. Normally they are very flat. There's quite the soft spot there that I want to get filled with gravel because we kept sinking and making it softer. Oh, see if I can figure out how to run a dumper. Dumper boy today. I believe the trick is to drive stupid fast, turn stupid sharp, and beat ever-living crap out of equipment. Could be wrong. With how humid it is, there's just a constant warning out for severe thunderstorms. There's definitely a big thunder boomer rolling to our south right now. Which is fine, we could use some rain, just give us a couple more days to get some more holes filled in. Kind of hoping it would all fit in one row, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So. Variants and quarter rows, that's the price of progress, I guess. I'm assuming you're allowed to lift these things up like you do a number. Down very slow, but it's got the double hoist system like the Weaver lanes do, and it's obviously picking up, it wouldn't be 25 ton of dirt, I don't think, but yeah, it's all about the pivot point, I guess. They got done what they can do for the wash bay so far. I guess you can't dig the last footer across the front until they pour the concrete for the pit. So the cement trucks come back in, I guess, I'm assuming, so we don't have to pay for a pump truck, which I don't know how they're going to get to that corner anyway. I don't know. We're allowed to dig the last footing until some cement is poured anyway. That's where that's at. Bad little excavator. It definitely is small still. I think it's the biggest of the mini X's that Bobcat makes. It does its job. It's maybe a little gutless for the size of it, but we rented it a bunch of times for little projects, and it's always been good. It's definitely a lot cheaper than hiring somebody to come in. But that only works when we have time to do it ourselves too. But I don't think we're going to get crazy tonight. Just maybe start a little earlier tomorrow morning when it's cooler. AC is not giving up anything right now. Got that soft spot filled in. That's I really wanted to see it. Still good gravel tonight yet. So if we do get a rain shower at the hopefully the end of the world, there's a tile at the end of this open hole, so water will have somewhere to go. I appreciate everybody watching. I'm excited to kind of take you along on this expansion journey and see how it goes. I have no idea when the bin builder's showing up. I have no idea when the wash bay concrete guys are showing up, but we have everything sitting here ready for them. They can come whenever. So big changes this summer again, so it's always exciting to expand and grow, but there's always growing pains with it. We never really expected the elevator to get to the size that it is today, and now we're kind of realizing that we need to maybe plan for it to be bigger in the future. So we kind of landlocked ourselves. The only way to the south, there's no way to go to the south because of the house and the shop. And the west is kind of not really an option because of where the end of the shop is. we would have to bury the hydro line to go east, so it's kind of just keep building south is the game plan now. So have another lag someday and another group of bins maybe, I don't know. We'll see. A bunch of roof augers and just keep building out. I don't know what's best. I appreciate everybody watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.